What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. Today we're going to be flying the fly-by-wire A320 from the Bahamas to Atlanta. I haven't done anything in the plane. Well, I did start up the iPad, but that's about it. So we're going to just jump in and get started. I am using a different livery today. I'm using the Southwest livery. That way, I wanted the wing view to look a little bit better, have more color to it since we're flying out of somewhere tropical and stuff. But we'll go ahead and we'll jump right into it. We'll get the battery 1 and battery 2, and we'll go external power. We'll go nav 1, 2, and 3. Crew supply on, wing, nav and logo lights. We'll arm our emergency exit lights and do no smoking. And that's going to be it for now. We'll get some button lights on. We'll get our screens turned up a little bit here so that we can see them. We'll get a little bit of panel lighting, nothing too crazy. All right, and there we go. First thing we're going to do is we're going to import our flight plan. This might take a second here to do sometimes. There we go. And we're going to call for the jetway. See if it'll make it over here. And we'll get baggage going. Oh. I don't know if that gets baggage going. There it goes. Yep. So doors coming up, doors open, and baggage looks like it is working. So we are good. We'll come down here, and first we'll get our weight and balance and start boarding. So we'll go weight and balance, send for that request, and we will start the boarding process. We'll go back here, and we'll make sure our flight plan imported from when we clicked on import on SimBrief, which it did. We'll verify that. We'll go to init, and we will request our flight plan. And there we go. Flight plan is there. So there's some more information we have to put in, such as our departure and our arrival, which I don't know what that is. So let's pull up our Navigraph chart here. Our departure is going to be runway 32 with no departure process or no SID, and we'll go direct to ZQA. So we'll go departure and runway 32, and that is it. Insert that. Our approach or arrival is going to be runway 26 right, the Jedi 2, and the Lars transition. So we'll go KATL, and what was it? 26 right. There it is, 26 right. The Jedi 2. We'll insert that. And the Lars transition. We'll go ahead and insert that. All right, so we'll double check that up here on our display. We'll turn constraints on. We'll go to plan mode and we'll zoom it out a little bit. We'll do the same over here. But we'll leave it on arc over there. All right, and we will take a look. So we fly out, we go direct to our first waypoint, and let's make sure everything else is good. We're gonna fly straight over to southern Florida and then basically fly up the coastline. Okay. Let's see, everything here is looking good, and then we will manually vector there. Everything looks fine there. We'll set that back to arc mode. A little bit more information we have to put in. We'll go to performance. We're gonna go flaps 1 today. So we'll go ahead and put that in. Auto generates our V1, VR, and V2 speeds. We'll go next phase, next phase, next phase, next phase. We'll clear out this message here. QNH and temperature is going to be, for our arrival, 2993 at 20. 2993. Temperature is 20. Our mag and wind is going to be 180 at 5 knots, 180 at 005. Put that in there. And we have to figure out our barometer for our approach runway, which is runway 26 right. So we'll go KATL, open charts, approach. We'll find runway 26 right. All right, everybody's boarded. Should get a short message here in a second. And it's going to be 1190. 1190. So we'll put that in there. And our approach localizer is going to be 110.1. 110.1. We'll put that in there.
Ladies and gentlemen from the flight deck, on behalf of myself, your captain, the first officer, and cabin crew, I'd like to take this time to welcome you aboard our flight. We're just wrapping up some paperwork up front here and waiting to receive final numbers from the ground crew, then we'll be on our way. Flight attendants will be coming through the cabin shortly with a very important safety briefing. We do ask that you give them your full, undivided attention as they review the safety operations of this Airbus aircraft. We do appreciate your business having you aboard this flight. If there's anything we do to make your flight any more enjoyable, please don't hesitate to ask. Welcome aboard.
All right, that was our welcome message. We are going to pull up our taxi chart here and figure out where we have to taxi. We started our APU and got our fuel pumps turned on. So here we go. So this is where we are. So we'll back out tail right, or I guess from the plane tail left, and we'll jump on hotel here and take that all the way down to 32. So we'll just back out, jump on the first taxiway all the way down to our runway. Pretty easy taxi. So we'll close out of that. Sounds like our APU just fired up. We'll turn this guy on. We got our TCAS turned on, and we'll lock our doors since we are getting ready for pushback here. There's a wing view. See the engine's different color. The tips of the wings are a little bit more colorful, which is why I picked this for our flight today. So we'll head back into the cabin here, and we will call for our tug. Reversing tail left. We'll set our engines to start mode or ignition mode. As soon as our tug is attached, we'll start our pushback. Our altitude, which one is it? This one? No. This guy, 380. We're going to be flying at flight level 380. 380, and our altimeter here is 2986. Whoop. We'll set that to 2986. We'll go back over here. Go ahead and release our parking brake, and we'll start our tug, or our pushback. We'll start engine 1, or engine 2 rather. We'll get that engine going first. We should turn our beacon light on. Should have done that before we started moving, and our seatbelt lights. We'll start our turn here. There's our taxi line. And we'll go ahead and stop our pushback. We'll put our emergency brake on, and we'll let the tug know that we are finished. We'll let them pull away. Looks like engine 1 is up and running. We'll get engine 2 going, or vice versa. Excuse me, engine 2 is up and running. We'll get engine 1 going. We'll arm our speed brakes. We'll go flaps 1, and we will set our auto brakes to maximum. Get our button lights turned up here. With all that being done, I think we are ready for taxi. I wonder if they're done the safety briefing.
The sign overhead, if necessary, floor level lighting will illuminate the aisles, helping find the exit. Please take a moment now to locate your closest exit and remember it may be behind you. If there is a change in cabin pressure, 4 oxygen masks will drop from overhead. Firmly pull the mask towards you to start the flow of oxygen. Place the mask over your nose and mouth, pull your elastic bands around your head, and tighten the straps to both sides. Even though the bag may not inflate, oxygen will be flowing. Be sure to put your mask on first before helping others, and we'll let you know when it's no longer needed. We'll be passing through the cabin to make sure we are ready for departure. You can help us by making sure your seatbelt is fastened, your seat back is upright, your tray table is stowed, and all carrying items are put away. If you have any questions about the safety features of this aircraft, please don't hesitate to ask. Smoking includes use of electronic cigarettes is never allowed on any flight. Tampering with, disabling, or destroying smoke detectors and aircraft.
Alright, looks like our engine's up and running, so we'll go ahead and switch this back to normal mode. And everything else looks good. We'll get our APU turned off. We no longer need that. We'll get our taxi light turned on. And everything else up here looks good. It looks like we are ready to taxi. We're going to taxi down to the first left-hand turn here, first taxiway, and follow that down to the runway. So we'll go ahead and release our parking brake. Do a little right rudder. Get us turning here to the right. There we are. Put it back to idle. Just let ourselves drift down the taxiway here. If you guys like these videos, feel free to leave a comment, drop a like, let me know if there's somewhere you want me to fly. I think, yeah. So it's our second left here. So this here is going to be our taxiway all the way down to the runway. There we are. Looks like a nice day to fly out of here. Looks like we're going to be flying into a sunset, probably arriving at nighttime into Atlanta, which should make for a pretty cool and scenic flight. Clear skies out of here. That's for sure. Anybody on this flight is probably sad to be leaving and getting back to their life after their vacation here in the Bahamas. I know I would be. Just keep on taxiing our way down. So I'm filming this on Mother's Day. It is Sunday the 8th. And tomorrow the PMDG 737 comes out. So I'm looking forward to getting into that plane a little bit and enjoying that. Hopefully I'll have some videos in the near future flying that. It's going to be slight learning curve. However, I do know how to fly the CRJ. So I know it's not quite the same, but some of the instrumentation and stuff is similar. So I don't think the learning curve will be too crazy. It's all the same stuff, just different buttons. This is Bravo here. We're going to cross over Bravo. Then we're going to cross over the tail end of runway 28, but we're still on the taxiway. Then we'll pass Alpha, and then we'll be on our make our right-hand turn onto the runway. This here will be runway 28. We're crossing over the very end of it. And this will be taxiway Alpha. And right down here, we'll be ready to line up with the runway. Go ahead and start hitting our brakes a little bit. There we go. And here's our hold short line, which we're going to go ahead and hold short here for just a moment. Toggle our brakes on. We'll take a look at our upper overhead panel here. We'll go strobes on, runway turn on lights, landing lights can come on, and takeoff lights can come on. And we are good to line up on the runway. Release our parking brake. We'll give ourselves a little bit of throttle. We'll get lined up here on the runway.
Please prepare for takeoff.
Alright, there we are lined up with the runway. So we're going to go ahead and take right off here. We're going to go half throttle. And we'll go take off power. Knots. There's our V1 and rotate. And positive climb, we'll gear up. Lower our nose just a little bit to get us up to our slat speed, put our flaps in, and toggle on our autopilot. There's our slat speed there. We'll put our flaps in. Go ahead and toggle our autopilot on. And there we are. Oh, we'll put it back to climb mode as well. All right, we are going direct to Peach. So we'll go ahead and go direct to Peach. Direct. There we are. Got a right-hand turn towards Peach. We'll go ahead and unarm our speed brakes. We don't need that anymore. Take a look out the wing. You see the island behind us? We're already out over the water here. We'll go ahead and change views. We'll get ourselves behind the wing. Not much to see out the window right now. And we'll go ahead and switch to a left wing. Alright, climbing up to 38,000. We're about to cross over 3,500. Everything seems to be going smooth so far. We'll keep our seatbelt lights on. We'll keep our landing lights on until we hit 10,000, and we will keep our altimeter set until our transition at 18,000. See a couple islands out there in front of us. Nothing much or too exciting to see. A little bit of clouds, some island over there. Here we are crossing over 6,500. Pretty smooth takeoff, no complaints. Weather looks good. I'm not sure what the weather is in Atlanta. I'll have to take a look at that and see what we're flying into. Unfortunately, the weather radar doesn't work in this plane as of yet, at least. Maybe something they'll add in later. Check out a wing view. Not much to see. That flickering on the window, I've done so much research on trying to figure out how to get that to stop, and apparently that's just something that you kind of got to deal with, unfortunately. But we can switch to a right wing view where the wing is in the shade and the sun's not flickering on it. There's not going to be much to see out the wing until we're over Florida, or flying over Fort Lauderdale. Looks like where we're going to intersect with Florida. I will put it in a wing view for you once we get to our transition altitude. There's our 10,000. We're going to go ahead and toggle off our landing lights. We no longer need our takeoff lights. We'll cut them off, and we don't need our runway turn-off lights. And we can turn our wing light off as well. So now from here, it's a pretty smooth flight. Looks like our speeds just switched because we're above 10,000. We're gonna gain some speed here. And we'll just keep on climbing our way out to 38,000. And I'll jump back into the cockpit here to change our altimeter around 18,000. Until then, it's going to be a pretty quiet flight. I won't do too much dialogue. Kick back and relax, maybe fall asleep if that's what you're watching for, just the plane sounds and everything. If not, I'll leave timestamps in the video for you to jump to. I'm not sure if I'm going to make this into a time-lapse video. I may or may not. If I do, I'll just throw a little bit of music behind it. But I'll catch you guys on the descent. When we start descending, I'll jump back on and do some dialogue and start explaining what I'm doing and everything. Alright guys, welcome back. Hope you guys were enjoying that flight. We have already started our initial descent from 38,000 down to 24,000 as per our approach. Let's pull the approach up here so that you guys can see it. Let me put night mode on so it's not so bright. So the Jedi 2 approach, we'll do show chart overlay. This is where we're at. This is what we flew. So we're coming up on our final approach for everything. Our first altitude was for flight level 240 at Lars, and our next one's going to be 14,000, and then 11,000, 10, 8, and then we'll have to look at our other chart to see after that where we're at. So runway 26 right, we'll open charts here. We'll look at approach runway, where you at, 26 right. So take a look at this. So after that waypoint, we go down to 5,000, 4,000, and then 2,700 for our ILS intercept. That's what we're looking at right now. So we'll go back to show chart overlay here. Coming up on our Lars, which you can see right here, we're about 20 miles out from Lars. And everything else seems to be going pretty smooth. Everything seems to be fine so far. We're gonna come over here and take a look. We'll just change this and then bring it back to refresh it. We're gonna take a look at our information for our approach. So 2995, we'll go ahead and go to performance, We'll go next phase. So 299.3, we need to change it to 299.5. Our temperature is 19 degrees and 150 at 4. So we'll go 19 degrees. Our wind is 150 at 004. And we'll put that in here. So the wind hasn't changed too much. Barometer's going to stay the same. We'll keep everything the same until we break that 18,000 threshold. Coming up on 24,000 feet now. And anybody wants to know, the dome light up here is right here. If anybody wants to be able to see a little bit better, there's actually a couple settings that you can go high, medium, or off. I don't need it on right now. For now, we're just going to leave it off. Everything else looks good. I was almost certain that there was like a dome light back here, but I guess not. Like just a small... I'm not sure. Maybe there's not. I thought there was a small light for back there, but... crossing over Lars in about 10 miles, and then we're going to drop down to 14,000. Was a pretty good flight. Didn't have any bad weather. Didn't have any bad turbulence. I don't think I saw any turbulence, actually. Everything went pretty smoothly. So let's hope that our landing and everything goes just as smooth. Pretty easy plane to fly. You basically program it and kick back and watch YouTube and Netflix or whatever you want. Excited for the PMD 737 to come out. To learn a new airplane. Although I do absolutely love this one. But it'd be nice to have a little more variety. CRJ is a great plane as well. I like flying that. I don't like that there's not an auto throttle, so it's a lot more manual labor flying that. You have to be a lot more attentive to the plane, or attentive. Looks like we're about 2 miles out from Lars. So we'll go ahead and set this down to 14,000. It'll hold our altitude constraint till we cross over, which actually we crossed over enough to start our descent. So heading down to 14,000. As soon as we cross that 18,000, we'll go ahead and toggle our standard mode off and put in our altimeter, which was 299.5. 299.5. You can hear the engines start dying down so that we can cruise down without gaining speed. It was a beautiful sunset. We had some contrails for a while there. You could see the out of the window view. If you go back and look, you'll see a lot of I guess smoke or condensation or whatever it is being created by the engines. You know, when you look up in the sky and you see a plane with a white trail of smoke behind it. We had that for a little bit once we came over Fort Lauderdale and started flying over the coastal area. About to cross over this next waypoint in a few miles, about 7 miles, the new HP. We don't have any altitude constraints or restrictions there, so we're just going to continue right down to 14,000. Coming up on 19,000. So switch the altimeter here in a minute. 18,800. We'll go ahead and get this set now. 29905. There we are. Altimeter set. Crossing over 18,000 now, and we're about 27 nautical miles out from our next waypoint. Some nice clouds. You can see the streets and roads or highways or whatever down below. Looks pretty cool. Coming up on 16,000. Looks like we're probably going to be gliding right along the top of these clouds. Coming up on our 14,000, about to level out here. Our next altitude after that is going to be 11,000. This is going to be the longest stint between two waypoints, so after this everything will start happening probably a little bit quicker. There's our engine spooling back up to manage our speeds as we level off. We are about 10 miles out from that waypoint, and then we'll head down to 11,000. At that waypoint, we have a speed restraint at 250 knots. Then we'll head down to Jedi, which is also a 250 knot speed constraint. After that, we don't have any speed constraints listed on here, so we'll manually manage our speeds. We'll go from 250 to 230, probably to 220 to 210. At 210, we should be able to activate our approach mode and extend our flaps, get locked onto the ILS and localizer. About 6 miles out from this next waypoint. We'll go ahead and set this down to 11,000 now. Should maintain this altitude. Yep, as you can see, it knows that there's an altitude constraint. And this down a little bit. So we will maintain that altitude constraint for sure. crossing over that waypoint in about a half a mile, or half a nautical mile. There we are, and we should start our descent here down to 11. Not too much to see down on the ground just yet, but once we get a little bit closer, I'll definitely be keeping a wing view. Some nice ground detail. Coming up on our 11,000 altitude here. Start bringing our speeds down now manually. Bring it down to 250. Our next altitude is going to be down to 8,000. This says 10,000, but we're going to put it down to 8. Go ahead and turn that on. Once we cross over this waypoint, we'll start our descent down. Here we are crossing down. We're gonna go ahead and turn on our landing lights because we're about to fall down below that 10,000 threshold here. There we are. So we're gonna bring our speeds down to 230. 230 knots. And we'll add in a little bit of speed brake just to help us slow down and get down to our altitudes. Go ahead and set this down to 5,000. And we'll bring this down to 210 knots. We're at 210 knots, so we're getting close enough. We're going to activate our approach phase here. Activate, confirm, and we're going to go flaps 1. And we'll automate our speed again, or we'll let our plane manage our speed. Heading down to 5,000. We're going to make a right-hand turn. And then we'll be set for a manual left turn onto our next waypoint where we would normally get ATC vectored. Right hand turn coming up here in just a moment. There it is. We can go ahead and take off our speed brakes here. We're going to go ahead and get our wing lights on, our takeoff lights, and our runway turn-off lights turned on. Coming up on 5,000 now. Well, 5,600. We're going to go flaps notch 2. Let our speeds come down a little bit more. All right, and the runway should be off to our left out there somewhere. Can't quite see it yet. I see a runway, but I don't think that's it. All right, so Bamboo is going to be our direct to when we get up there. We'll go direct to Bamboo. Once we get a little bit closer to make that left turn. We'll maintain 5,000 for now. Once we get a little bit closer, we're going to start down to 4,000, 3,000. And then I think it was 27. I'll pull up the chart here on my other screen. All right. It wants us at 4,000 at Bamboo and then 2,700 to intercept our ILS. So we're already cleared down to 4,000. We'll go ahead and head down to 4,000. We got about 10 miles to go before we make a left turn and line up with the runway. All right, looks like we're leveling off at 4,000 here. Shortly here, we're going to start that turn. All right, we can go ahead and start that turn to Bamboo. Direct 2. After that, we're down to 2,700, which we'll input that now. We're gonna hold this altitude constraint until we cross over Bamboo, but once we cross over Bamboo, it'll start its descent. We'll wait till we're closer to Bamboo, and then we'll toggle on our localizer and start looking for the localizer. And then shortly after that, we'll toggle on our approach. I can see the runways coming in up here. About 5 miles out from our Bamboo waypoint. Everything's looking pretty good so far. Go ahead and kick on our localizer. As you can see down here by the blue localizer, we're looking for that to turn blue or green with an asterisk. All right, and there it is, green with an asterisk. We'll line up with it and we will hit our approach. There it is, and we'll go ahead and hit approach. Same thing, we're blue glide slope. We're looking for that to turn green with an asterisk to let us know we are locked on to the glide slope. Our intercept altitude was 2,700, which is what we're heading down to now. So we're gonna basically get underneath of it and then ride that 2,700 until we intercept with it. With that being said, we can go ahead and arm our speed brakes. We're gonna go medium auto brakes.
2,500.
We're gonna drop our gear. All of our lights are already on. Seatbelt lights on.
Please prepare for landing.
And we're good to rock and roll. Still looking for that glide slope. Holding altitude here at 2,700. Plane is nosing up to manage that altitude until we intercept. Auto managing our speed and altitude at this point. There's our glide slope block one right there. Green with an asterisk. There's our outer marker sound. And we will continue this to our descent all the way to the runway. Everything's looking pretty good so far. We have everything set up the way it should be and should make for a smooth landing. Nice window view looking at Atlanta below us. You can see Atlanta just above the wing, the middle of the wing, the top there. Like I said, I wish Flight Sim would work on their cities. Their skyscrapers just seem to be like dark entities popping out from the ground instead of being lit up differently or something to make them stand out. But that is downtown Atlanta out there. Keep a wing view for just another couple seconds here, and then we'll go back into the cockpit and bring her down to the runway. All right, here we are.
$500.
Too low. Terrain.
Oh, we gotta go full flaps.
$400.
There we are, we're fine.
$300. 100 above. $300. Minimum.
Continuing. I should have said that when he said it. That's
100.
okay.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10. Retard.
And
Retard.
reverse thrust. Let's not drift here. There we are. We are down. We'll turn reverse thrust off and we will taxi off of this taxiway right here. Good landing. Just forgot to go full flaps right before touchdown there, so that's okay. We got it in time and we are fine. We're gonna pull off the runway right here and then we're gonna hold short for a moment. Right here. We're gonna go ahead and hold short. Toggle our brake on. We'll get our dome light turned on here. Oh, we don't need max dome light. We can get our runway turn off lights turned off, our strobe turned off. Our landing lights can come down. We'll leave our taxi lights on. Everything else can stay on. We'll get our APU started. We will unarm our speed brakes and we will continue to the left here. And we're gonna cross runway 26 left. So here we go. We'll give it a little bit of throttle here. which I actually think it's going to be the second left up here. The first left is going to take us to a taxiway. All right, so we'll turn here. All right, there we are. We're going to go ahead and cross this runway here. And we'll continue our way right into the ramps here. There we go. Very good landing. If you guys are enjoying this, be sure to leave a like, drop a comment, and if there's anywhere you want me to fly, let me know. We're gonna go into this next gate here, which will be this one. Coming nice and slow. There we are. And we'll go ahead and stop here. Put our brake on. We'll get that taxi light off. Stop blinding everybody. All right. Welcome to Atlanta. We're going to... We can unlock our door. Toggle off our seatbelt light. No longer need their seatbelts. And we can drop our engines. We're going to get a pop-up screen here in a second. We'll click continue. And we'll see if we can get this jetway over here. We'll open the door, and there it is. We'll send that over. We'll get baggage going. No, sometimes baggage works, sometimes it doesn't. There it goes. And we'll get the catering going, too.
Yep, doors are just on.
The doors verified?
We'll go ahead and go on external power, and we'll turn our APU off. Turn our beacon off because we're not moving anymore. We'll leave our wing lights on and our nav and logo lights on. And that is our flight. Again, welcome to Atlanta. If you guys enjoyed that, let me know, and I will be back on here shortly. We'll be doing another flight probably tomorrow. So I will see you guys on the next flight.